A man who won an Oscar for writing a movie that he directed. He was also in Sling Blade, Monsters Ball, Simple Plan, Friday Night Lights. Obviously, folks who watch this show will have seen that. And then there was Fargo on television, including right now Goliath. Season 2 of the Amazon Prime original series is available for streaming tomorrow. The man who won the Golden Globe for his role is Billy McBride in Goliath here on the show. Good to see you again, Billy Bob Thornton.
You too, man.
So let's get right into it. The St. Louis Cardinals are your team, correct?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so now they are seemingly locked into a 3-team battle right now in the National League Central, it seems.
They're going to fight it out with the Cubs and Brewers all year, it looks like. Yeah.
And so it just seems like every year they have what it takes, and it's either they're going to get it done in September to get into October or not. Is that an accurate portrayal of your franchise, do you think, Billy?
I think everybody's team drives them crazy at some point, you know, and I watch every game and yell at the TV, you know, the whole thing. And
you're yelling about strategy and stuff like that?
Stuff like that. It's like, you know what? Leave him in. Leave him in one more inning. I'm telling you, if you don't, here come 4 runs next inning, I promise you. And then when it happens, jumping up and down, almost in triumph, just because I was
rather
right.
Be right?
No, but no, I'm a tried and true Cardinal fan. I just love the team, and the reason is because I grew up in Arkansas, and their Double-A club was in Little Rock, the Arkansas Travelers. So we saw a lot of those guys come through there. And
who'd you see come through there?
Keith Hernandez. You know, I remember specifically, you know, a guy that I remembered actually seeing.
Sure.
You know, and it was great. And I remember they had a thing called the $5,000 hole, and on the right field line, on the wall, there was a hole, maybe that big around, you know. And if one of the players hit a home run through that hole, he got $5,000, which in the minor leagues that was money.
Please, that's serious.
You
exactly.
know? And I think somebody did it, or it was done a couple of times. I never saw it done. But anyway, so yeah, always a Cardinal fan. I'm an Indianapolis Colts fan. And it's been a rough few years.
Now, that connection is Peyton Manning. Is that the connection there, or what was the connection for the
I was a
Indianapolis
Baltimore
Colts?
fan.
Okay.
I liked the Johnny Unitas days when I was a kid, and everybody was a Cowboys fan in my area, you know, and I was too. I loved the Cowboys, but for some reason, maybe just to be different, I followed the Colts, and then they snuck out of town in the middle of the night, and I kept up with them in Indianapolis. But I love Peyton Manning so much. I just think he's just one of the greatest, not only athletes, but just a cool dude, you know.
You got a chance to meet him?
I've never met him, no. He sent me a jersey, an autographed jersey, though.
No kidding?
Yeah.
For what, just out of the blue?
I just asked for it. I said, you know.
So what is your favorite, what's your, Billy Bob Thornton here on the Rich Eisen Show, what is your best sports memorabilia that you have, that you're most proud of, or something that you love?
Oh, I've got a bunch of things that I love, but the one that I would have to say is the coolest, simply because it's not, because I was a baseball player, so baseball stuff means a lot to me. One year, a girlfriend of mine said, if you could have anything for Christmas this year, what would it be? And I said an autographed baseball glove from Brooks Robinson, because Brooks was from Arkansas. He grew up in Little Rock, North Little Rock. And I just loved him, you know, when he played with the Orioles. And so I thought, that's never going to happen. But if I could have anything, that's what it would be. And she chased him down. She got all the publicists and everybody else on the case. And Christmas morning, I opened it up, and there was an autograph book, a Brooks Robinson glove, and it said, and of course, you know, the glove from him, that's the thing, because of his fielding, you know, and it said, from a huge fan, Brooks Robinson. I'm like, Brooks Robinson knows who I am. I'm done. This is all fine. But speaking of Brooks Robinson, I have a sports trivia question for you.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
No, everybody misses one guy. Baltimore Orioles, I think it was in 70, had 4 20-game winners. Who were all 4 of them?
Okay.
You're going to name 3 of them for sure.
Okay, Palmer. Okay. Cuellar.
2.
Okay, I'm halfway home. Was Flanagan on the team? That's prior to that, right?
He ain't one of them.
Well, just also to let you know, Billy, I have an earpiece in my ear.
Oh, please, you can't cheat.
A diehard Baltimore fan who's shooting the shots right, who's slicing up the shots right now. Gosh, who else is that? Nobody's getting in my ear right now.
Okay, yeah, don't tell him.
McNally.
McNally, there you go. You just got the 3 that everybody gets.
And the fourth one is? Who's the fourth one?
Pat Dobson.
I would never have gotten that.
Nobody ever does. No.
So you're a baseball trivia guy, basically, as well.
No, you know Jeffrey Lyons?
Of course.
Yeah, Jeffrey Lyons.
Movie critic, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This cat knows everything. He and Bruce Dern know more sports trivia than anybody on earth.
We've had Bruce Dern on this show, and the stories that this guy tells
it's unbelievable.
Are unbelievable. Yeah. And also, though, it's interesting that we just had Mike Haynes on in the last hour. That the movie Black Sunday was not shot at his Super Bowl, but just a couple of Super Bowls before the one that he played in. And Bruce Dern, was in that movie. I mean, that guy. We had him on our podcast too. He was. He was
unbelievable.
He's somebody who's very excited about sports gambling returning, I believe.
Oh,
correct.
Yeah, he is. But you know, the thing about him is, like, you have a lot of people who know trivia from college sports or pro sports or whatever, but Bruce will meet a guy. I mean, I'll just bring a name out, anybody. Let's say Franco Harris. I don't know. And I don't know where Franco Harris went to high school, and this is not it, but Bruce would go, yeah, Franco Harris, 2 blocks down from the high school that Johnny Unitas went to, 2 blocks away, and they didn't know each other. And 5 years later, they had a head-on collision with each other, or whatever it is.
That sounds incredible.
It's unbelievable that he knows where everybody went to high school. And I'm talking about people who were pole vaulters. I mean, he knows stuff like that. It's like, I can't name a pole vaulter.
That sounded just like him, by the way. So Billy Bob, I guess, then before we throw it a break, I'm mandated to ask, did you ever put on the Brooks Robinson glove? Like literally put your hand in it?
Oh, I put it on, but boy, do I protect it. I finally put it in plexiglass because it's, the name might rub off,
Yeah, you don't want to do it.
But boy, that's a real dandy thing. McGuire also gave me a bat right after he broke it,
Right after he broke the Maris?
No, after he broke his bat. Oh, he grounded out to third. But
no, you should say it was home run number 67. Home run 62.
But it was that year.
Okay.
It was that year. And, he grounded out to third against the Dodgers, and he gave me the bat. And his batting glove, which had dirt all over it and everything, so I've got that. And, I got some good stuff over the years. Yeah.
That's so funny. He gave me a broken bat. He grounded out to third.
Yeah.
But it's his.
Absolutely.
All right. We're back in 60 seconds. We'll talk a little bit more with Billy Bob Thornton. Goliath is available for streaming in season 2. Billy McBride himself from Goliath. Billy Bob Thornton. We come back in 60 seconds. So many choices for streaming TV shows out there. It's ridiculous. But if you are up for one, you should choose Goliath on Amazon Prime. And not just because, Billy Bob Thornton, you are sitting here. My wife and I have been binging season 1. We're excited for season 2. You are awesome in it. David E. Kelly creating a lawyer character that you play. That is something that is good eats if you're an actor. And it seems like you are having a blast doing this, just watching it, Billy.
Absolutely. I love playing this character. Yeah, it's the only thing that I've come across the last few years that I would do on a regular basis. I could play it from now on, actually. I love it.
No, I know, because when you did Fargo, that was kind of a one-off, because that's the way that series is set up, changing characters completely from season to season, even decades. So is this the first TV show that you've done, like as a recurring character, where it's just based around somebody that you're playing, pretty much?
I mean, except for when I was first coming up,
right?
I did TV back then. I remember doing an episode of Matlock and Knots Landing, stuff like that. I mean, just a few lines.
Were you in a scene with Andy Griffith?
No, I actually wasn't. I was so excited to do Matlock, and then you get there and you find out it's, you know, your scene was like some other guy like you that nobody's ever heard of.
You wanted to be in a scene with Andy Griffith.
Oh, yeah, and I'm in a scene with some guy named
Right.
Buddy or whatever. It's like, hey, nice to meet you. You know, whatever.
But, and again, Matlock, those were back in the days where those were the types of shows about a lawyer, right?
Oh, yeah,
Now,
exactly.
what you're doing right now is completely far
Whole
afield.
other thing.
Also far afield of what David E. Kelly has done with lawyer characters as well. What I mentioned earlier, what attracted you to this role? I'd love to give you the floor once again for the radio audience now that's here about why you decided to do this.
Well, it's just, you know, something that I read it and I knew it was right for me. And it's not that different from what I think I would be if I were a lawyer in L.A. I mean, it just everything about it was right, you know.
Hanging out in a dive bar, Shay J out there by the beach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you get beat up quite a bit in the show, Billy.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm used to it though.
And so, interestingly enough, and this one hit me because I'm such a huge fan of the film. Your character, Billy McBride, plays somebody who's once had a huge amount of success, now down on his luck, trying to come back by beating a Goliath.
Right.
And the through line in all this is the movie Hoosiers and Coach Norman Dale and the speech that is given prior to the game against, you know, the big, huge Goliath that Milan was taking on about the David and Goliath, the Philistine, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
That spoke to me.
Right.
I'm wondering if it spoke to you when you read that in the script.
Absolutely. And it came about, it actually wasn't in the script. What was there was my backstory that was given to me by one of the producers, who was that I'd gone to the University of Indiana.
Right.
And so once I had that, Hoosiers is one of my favorite movies and my favorite sports movie. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to throw something in every now and then about Hoosiers. And there are a couple of times when I'm actually watching Hoosiers on my laptop in the series.
Yes,
you know what I mean? And kind of like mouthing the words along, and in real life I know it too, like every scene. And we were talking backstage about how no matter how many times you watch Hoosiers, you're always nervous. You're always afraid they're going to lose. And you know, I talk back to the movie still. I've probably seen it 500 times.
Me too.
Just over and over, I've seen that movie.
So this was your idea. Let's get the movie Hoosiers involved in the show.
Yeah, the Hoosiers part was the Indiana part was already
but
there.
Let's use the film. Let's use the speech.
Sure.
There's not a week that goes by in my life, Billy Bob, and I'm serious here, that there's not a week that goes by where I don't use some line from that film.
Oh yeah.
As a metaphor for what's happening in my life.
Yeah.
That the rim to the floor is still the same height, and that the baseline is still the same to the free throw line. It's unreal how often that works.
And then he turns to his assistant there on the way out after the players are out of earshot, and he says, "It is big."
It's right. Butler Fieldhouse.
Yeah, Butler Fieldhouse.
It is big.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's amazing.
So, how many sports movies have you had the opportunity to do? I mean, I know obviously you had Friday Night Lights. Is that something? Bad News Bears, obviously doing the Buttermaker role.
Right. Yeah. Other than that, I mean, Mr. Woodcock, I play a PE teacher, but you know,
I forgot about that one. Right.
And the thing about it is, you know, sometimes Hollywood it can be narrow-minded, and once you do something that's successful, they want you to keep doing it again. And so I got offered a bunch of coach roles
after Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, I mean, and even after Mr. Woodcock, all of them. But you just can't keep doing them. You know what I mean? It's like I got offered a soccer coach. I know as much about nuclear physics as I do about soccer. I really do. It's one of the sports. I mean, I like Liverpool. I follow them only because my people are originally from that area. But I don't know what they're doing. I've only recently gotten to where I can halfway understand hockey, because growing up where I did, hockey just didn't exist for us,
right.
You know. And it took me years with soccer and hockey. It's like they call somebody offsides. They all look offsides to me. It's like, what does that even mean, you know? And but I do follow some other sports that, you know, not all my buddies do. I'm a UCLA softball fan.
Okay.
I love that team and follow them to the NCAA World Series and all that kind of stuff, you know. kind of lost out there in the semifinals. But golf is something I never watched until the last 2 or 3 years, and I started watching it because I got fascinated with the LPGA, and I was like, wow, these gals can play golf.
So you're going to be watching the U.S. Open this weekend? You're going to take?
Yeah, I watch it off and on. It fascinates me. I'm terrible at it. I tried it a couple of times, and I just.
It's interesting because baseball players usually it does translate to golf in a way. They do. Some baseball players.
I was a pitcher.
Well, I mean,
you know what I mean. But I can drive.
Okay.
It's the putting that I have a problem with. Yeah.
That's the putting for dough.
Driving,
aspect
I'm good at.
Well,
I can't putt.
Billy Bob Thornton here on the Rich Eisen Show. I'm keen to know, a diehard sports fan that you are, what did you learn out of Friday Night Lights? Did you learn something out of immersing yourself in that scene and immersing yourself in the book and the film at all?
Well, I don't know. I grew up in a sports household. My dad was a coach. He was a high school coach. He coached basketball, but I knew what it was like to live in a household with a coach. And I guess the most I learned from that movie was just about that specific team and that situation, with Gary Gaines, who was a real guy, and I played him, and, exactly how seriously they take football down there in Odessa and Midland, that area. Texas in general, but Odessa, that stadium, when we shot there, it's like a college stadium, my high school stadium, we had bleachers on our side, and then the visitors' side, were like a few benches. It was just another world. And this place literally looked like the stadium at the college I went to.
And the speech that you delivered that is been made so famous and is recounted. Did you ad-lib any of that? Was that written for you word for word? Did you pull on anything?
Some of it was written, and I asked Pete Berg, the director, I said, listen, literally the night before, a friend of mine screwed me over in a way that I can't describe. I was so devastated by something a friend had done to me.
In real life?
In real life. And I asked Pete, I said, can I kind of go off of this and just talk about some other stuff? And he said, sure, whatever you want to do. And all that stuff about if at the end of the day you can look at that guy next to you on your team in the eye and know that you did everything you could, all that stuff was directly related to what had happened the night before.
And that made the film?
Oh, yeah.
Damn straight it did.
Yeah. So there you go. That's usually the best stuff in a movie, anything that it comes straight out of something organic,
Is anything in Goliath like that? Because you do a lot of crazy stuff.
There's a whole lot of stuff in
there. We need a whole new show to do something like that. Oh. And by the way, my coordinating producer got on my ear and told me during our conversation what your credited role in that Matlock episode is. Do you remember it?
I played a guy that worked at a pawn shop. I remember that.
You are a pawn shop broker, sir.
Yeah.
No one can ever take that credit away from you.
They can't do it. They just can't.
I don't know who does. Do you ever hear that? I always wonder that. Who are the people that try to take anything away from you like that?
I know,
no one can
right?
ever take that away from you.
I know. Well, what's interesting about being an actor when you're first coming up is you scan through the casting papers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when you see who you think you are, I always thought that was interesting, And you would see roles in there that would say, this terribly obese guy with one eye and, pathetic creature or whatever. And then the guy who goes, that's me, and they show up for the audition. You know what I mean? It was always interesting. So I don't remember what I thought of myself, not much, but that's what you had to do. You'd have to look in, like in the drama log paper and all this kind of stuff for what you were right for.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, you were right for this role, Billy McBride in Goliath. I'm loving it. I really, really am. I'm looking forward to season 2, big time.
Excellent.
And Morris Chestnut is on tomorrow's show to talk about it,
Oh,
too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really nice guy, Morris. I like him a lot.
I'll tell you what, there's a credit on my filmography, Billy Bob, where I played Rich Eisen in Like Mike.
Nice.
Yes.
Excellent.
No one can ever take that away from me.
And you know what? Nobody can do it like you can.
No, and every so often, I go to my mailbox, I get an envelope from the Screen Actors Guild, anywhere between 15 to 80 cents.
Absolutely.
That's the check, baby.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Less than the stamp or the gas it costs to go put it in the bank.
Are you still getting residuals from that Matlock? Are you still
Once in a blue moon, I get them. Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed. Great to see you.
You too,
Great
Rich.
to see you. Billy Bob Thornton here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.